thanks for watching. Stick around, like, subscribe. I got a lot of fun stuff going on. But today, we're talking about Total Archery Challenge. It is Total Archery Challenge week, meaning this is the week registration starts, and people are going to be signing up for the Total Archery Challenge. I think Oklahoma's first, and then Tennessee, and then they just keep coming. So a lot of people come up to me, and I'll either have my TAC shirt or a Shot 3D shirt, and they'll go, "Oh, did you shoot Total Archery Challenge?" And I get to talking about it, like, man, I've always wanted to do that. And I always tell them, like, just do it. Just do it. And don't be intimidated by it. Don't be scared about it. Just get out and do it. It's all for fun. And this video is kind of to maybe give you some insight or some tips or reasons why to hopefully push you over the edge and make you go, you know what, this is the year I'm going to actually sign up and do a Shot 3D event or a Total Archery Challenge or any of the various fun shoots. Keep in mind, these are fun shoots. They're not, like, you can keep score if you want. You don't have to. It's not a competition like as a whole. So it's not like going to your local 3D shoot or going to an ASA where people are really stressed out and, don't break the rules or you'll get a disqualification. The basic rules are don't use a broadhead and don't shoot anybody, and have a good time. So, don't come into it with, well, I went to a 3D event down at Jim Bob's archery range and, I got in trouble or they got mad because I shot out a turn or something like that. It's not like that at all. So 5 tips for reasons why you should shoot a Total Archery Challenge or a Shot 3D, a fun 3D archery event this year. Find one close to you. They're all over the country. If you're in that south part of the country, Shot 3D is in Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, maybe Missouri. I'm not 100% on Missouri, but that's a big area, and it's a short drive, and it is worth the trip. And of course, TAC is everywhere, so feel free to go to those. So number one, why you should do this, why you should just pay I think it's $60 a day or $50 a day to go shoot the courses. You get to shoot the practice range. There's all kinds of novelty shoots at these. And that number's just off the top of my head, so the price may be wrong, but around $60 a day. I think we pay like 110, 120, 115 for 2 days most of the time. So I assume it's around 60 for a day. And that's last year, so the prices may have changed. But it makes you practice. If you know that in 3 weeks I've got to go shoot Total Archery Challenge with my buddies and I don't want to look like a fool, you're going to go practice. You're going to get practice and reps that you otherwise wouldn't do. You wouldn't be out shooting in February and March and April generally unless you know I've got something coming up, so I've got to go do it. And most people, they put their bow down in December or January and they don't pick it back up till July or August, and then they start shooting again. A lot of things change then, bad habits form. You're not as crisp, you're not as, all the fundamentals kind of go out the window and you got to restart. This forces you to pick your bow up, go outside and shoot a little bit. And that's probably the biggest advantage of it, is that it forces you to, because you don't want to show up to Total Archery Challenge and not shoot good in front of your buddies. And if you go by yourself, you don't want to go out there and lose a bunch of arrows. So it forces you to practice and practice at longer ranges than you probably are used to, which I think builds confidence. So on to the next one. It requires you to shoot in high pressure situations. Like, everybody can go in their backyard and shoot a bag target at 20, 25 yards. And we all know that going to an actual deer hunt and you're in a high pressure situation and there's a buck on high alert at 33 yards, whatever, that's intense, that's high pressure, that's where buck fever comes. You get shakes, you can't draw your bow back. Going to Total Archery Challenges forces you to shoot and stuff like that because you're gonna have a limb or a rock sticking out there in front of the deer, or the target I should say, and your mind is thinking those bad thoughts about don't hit the rock, and you gotta force that out and you gotta overcome that. It forces you to be in that high pressure situation, and that only makes you a better bow hunter, it only makes you better at archery. So put yourself in those situations, do it with buddies around, and have a good time while you're at it. So it's really good for doing that and overcoming that. And once you do overcome that and you make those good clean shots in those situations like that, you can build confidence. And number 3 is that, build confidence. Make those shots at 70 yards when you hit the target pretty good. You hit Bigfoot at 70 yards in the torso, 80 yards, whatever it is, you go, all right, I can shoot my bow pretty good, and it builds your confidence. So now the 20 and 30 yard shots are just layups. So that's one of my favorite parts of this is when you're shooting 70, 80, 90 yards, I wouldn't shoot a deer at that range, but it does make you feel way better about a 20 or 30 yard chip shot. So again, force yourself to go practice, get confidence, and you'll feel way better about those shorter shots that you'll have more confidence in. And this probably is my favorite. It allows you to experiment. I like to experiment with different arrows, different vanes, different weights, poundage, different bows. I like to experiment. I like to tinker, and so I may end up taking like different bows to all the different events. I may not take the same bow to any more than 2 events or so, because I like trying different arrows, different bows, different weights. I've got 3 or 4 different arrow brands that I shoot at different ones just to kind of see how they do. And using the sight tapes you print off makes that fairly easy. Just fine tune it a little bit. But it allows you to do that in spring or the summer, and you still have time to go, all right, I didn't really like that. I'm gonna go back to my Easton Axis long range, or I'm gonna go back to a 450 grain arrow instead of a 375 or a 400 because I like the way they flew, or 4 fletches versus 3 fletch. It's a great time to experiment. You don't have to be committed to anything. Again, it's just for fun. So shoot different stuff and see if you find something else you like. It's a great time to buy a new dozen arrows, fletch them up, and go see how they shoot. And if you lose them and you didn't like them anyway, who cares? And the 5th one is probably a big one. It's never just a bad day to be outside. I mean, what are you gonna be sitting inside on a Saturday doing nothing? Go outside with your buddies, go shoot bows. That's a great way to get outside and force yourself to be in these scenarios, build confidence, get outdoors, be around other hunters. I know it's been a great opportunity for my kids when they've gone. They went 1 year and they got to meet John Dudley, Chris B, Caitlin Moss. It was really cool for them. They got to shoot the targets. Again, they're kids, so we moved them up. They didn't have to shoot at 60 and 80 yards. We let them walk up to 20 or 30 and where they felt comfortable and shoot. And no one cares. It's not against the rules. So don't be afraid to take your kids. If there are any confidence at all in them shooting 20 or 30 yards, let them walk up. The last thing, don't be intimidated. I know it's the first time you do something, it's always a little iffy. The registration process can be intimidating, but basically be there online the minute it opens up. Click register now as soon as it comes up, and it'll put you in a spot. And when it's your turn to register, get registered. If you're watching this after the registration, if it's just 1 or 2 people, sometimes you can still get in to some. And they may be like the early ones or the really late ones. But you could still get in and shoot. And if you're by yourself, I think they're pretty good about it. If you email them or message them on Facebook and say, hey, I'm interested in shooting this, am I by myself? What time would I be able to go? I think they're good about working with you on that. And the Shot 3D, you don't even have to register. You can just show up and pay it at the door, at the registration. So that's a really cool one. You can just show up, pay, and you go shoot. You don't have to worry about the registration. If the registration stresses you out, do the Shot 3D and just show up and have a good time. You don't have to have anybody with you. Don't think I don't have any buddies that are going, so I'm not going to go. I've shot 3D by myself and had a blast. Made friends while I was there. We're Facebook friends now. Everybody's friendly and in a good mood, so go into it with that attitude. Like, don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. It's not that big a deal. It's a really laid back, relaxed atmosphere, and everybody's just there for a good time. The only other thing would be, I encourage you to go to the after parties. TAC has after parties and stuff, and they do giveaways and they raise money for hunters feeding the hungry and stuff like that. Some other places. Go to those. Those are a good time. Those are a blast. They do a lot of giveaways, and generally it's a bunch of dudes, hunters and bow hunters having a good time. So definitely check those out. Don't be intimidated. Have a good time. Definitely try one this year. They are a blast. I think you will really enjoy it. I think you'll be happy you did it, and I really think you'll be kind of addicted to them, and you'll go, next year I'm doing more than one. I know I've found myself every year doing more, traveling further to go do Total Archery Challenge events or to do Shot 3D events. This year I'm planning on doing 3, maybe 4 Shot 3D events, and last year I did 1. They're that much fun, and so I definitely encourage you to take that step, give it a try, and you'll enjoy it and have a good time. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you done one? Do you have any advice? What's a tip you have for somebody that's going to their first TAC or their first Shot 3D? Put it in the comments below. If you're thinking about going to one, you should be able to read the comments below and get some tips from people that are watching this. If you're interested in going to one of these events, these shooting archery events, stick around and watch. I've got a lot of stuff coming for that. I'm going to be building arrows, getting bows ready, tuning up, printing sight tapes, going through my process, getting ready to go to these archery events. So if you're interested in it, you can definitely stick around and watch, like, subscribe, and you'll see that. Don't forget, we got giveaways going. Check out the Instagram page, like and subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you for watching.